So XDefiant came out yesterday, and against all my usual Ubisoft hating instincts, I gave it a download. I figured whatever, it's free to play, if I hate it, I'll just delete it. I already have a Ubisoft account from that weird period of my life where I was really into Rainbow Six Siege for some reason. Apex is bugging me today, Valorant's not the vibe, whatever, I'll try it, it's a 35 gig download. And I haven't played the betas, mind you. I was going into launch day of this game completely blind, and I'm also someone who played the absolute snot out of Call of Duty from COD 4 up to MW19 where I tapped out. I dabbled in Black Ops Cold War, I played Vanguard for a free weekend once or twice, but I absolutely adored the old school, quote, golden age Call of Duty formula, and I don't feel like that formula has been properly provided to me by a new game since like 2016, 2017, at least not outside of fan projects like Plutonium or SM2. Rest in peace. So here I am, roughly 3 to 4 hours into XDefiant, and I am genuinely almost angry at how good this game is. I am puzzled beyond belief why it took this long for this game to come out, and I am absolutely befuddled as to why Activision has straight up refused to give us this experience, because now that it's in my hands, I'm not being dramatic when I say that this is the best new PvP experience I've had in years.
Zone compromised.
You can't hide now! Oh my god. Too easy!
Come here. Oh! So conceptually, XDefiant is just Ubisoft Smash Brothers cosplaying as Black Ops 4, with a little splash of Overwatch thrown in. The moment-to-moment gameplay is literally just Call of Duty, but the time to kill is very long, which I actually appreciate because it means you can have actual gunfights instead of just automatically winning a fight because you shot first. There are a bunch of different factions that you pick from when you start the game, and those factions all have different abilities and ultimates that you charge up, basically acting as the Overwatch influences, but the Smash Bros aspect of it that I mentioned is the fact that all the different factions in this game are just different Ubisoft shooter franchises. There's a Splinter Cell faction, a Ghost Recon faction, a Division faction, a Far Cry faction, a Watch Dogs faction, and a lot of the maps in this game are just pulled from various locations from those Ubisoft shooters over the years. There's a few Division-inspired maps, there's a few Far Cry-inspired maps, and honestly, this game has made me just extra annoyed at Ubisoft because, good lord, you guys are sitting on so many awesome IPs that you absolutely refuse to do anything with nowadays. Forgive me, I'm just too low IQ to understand why Ghost Recon should be an open-world looter shooter. Do you see why this game upsets me? Hang on, let me keep explaining. Really, the factions in this game are just reskins of the general, hero concept in other shooters like Overwatch or like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and even though all the factions are based on real human characters and the art style of this game is obviously realistic, it's very easy to identify in combat, at least once you play a few matches. It's really understand to see someone and immediately identify them as, this faction, which means they'll have these abilities, which is a lot easier said than done. That's the kind of thing that a lot of PvP shooters completely mess up. But after a few matches, you'll very quickly be able to identify the different factions with a second's notice, and you'll understand that faction are the medics, that faction are the aggros, that faction plays stealthy, so on and so forth, and it makes the game play like a very healthy blend of classic Call of Duty and classic Overwatch, in the sense that the game is primarily about the gunplay and the objective capturing, but there's an added aspect of hero shooting that comes into play at times. Or to put it in other words, this is the game that games like Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare were trying to be. That weird era of Call of Duty where the devs were trying really hard to incorporate things like ultimates and specialists and stuff like that? XDefiant is literally just that era of Call of Duty, but with the concept done properly. The game modes are basically all just lifted from Call of Duty. Some of them names have been changed, and some literally are just the same names as they are in COD. You have a custom class system, you have a bunch of weapons, all with their own leveling system, and a bunch of attachments to unlock. There's camos to unlock that encourage you to branch out and use everything, and frankly, the gun balance is pretty good right now. I'm not noticing anything that's completely overpowered or, completely unviable. Sniping is a bit too easy right now, in my opinion, but honestly, I'm not even sure if that needs any adjusting, because the XDefiant devs finally figured out that a good balancing mechanic for snipers is just to make them slow and awkward to reload. Meaning, yeah, you get access to a giant one-shot death machine, but if you get overzealous with it, or if you don't hit your shots, you'll get blasted back to the Stone Age by basically anyone who sees you while you're reloading the gun. Like, seriously, why did it take this fucking long to figure this out? Counter-Strike figured that out like 25 years ago. Why are the arcade respawn shooters only just now figuring out that movement and reload speeds can be used as a gun balancing mechanic? See, this is what I mean in the video title when I say that this game is great and I'm actually mad about it. Because yeah, this game is really fucking good. It's really fucking fun. But why did this take so long? Where was this game 5 years ago? Blame Truth recently said in a video that this game feels like a proper sequel to Black Ops 4. Like, this is where Call of Duty should have gone after Black Ops 4. And he's 100% right. This is the game that Activision should have put out after Black Ops 4, but instead they started the Modern Warfare reboot series and drove their franchise into the ground in the name of catering to Battle Royale players. The fact that it's taken this long for some other AAA developer to pick up the pieces is baffling to me. And the fact that it's flippin' Ubisoft just makes me feel kinda gross. Like, dude, how many videos do I have dumping on Ubisoft? How many times on this channel have I called them one of the worst companies in AAA gaming? And now here they are putting out a game that makes me happier than any other PvP game has in a long time. And that's really what XDefiant does. It just makes me happy. You know, as someone who grew up during that prime time of arcade PvP shooters on the 360, XDefiant just makes me fucking happy, man. Like, I played this game with Austy Frosty TV yesterday, who I used to grind Modern Warfare Remastered with on the Xbox One. And dude, I was just fucking happy. Like, this is the game that I've been waiting for Activision to wake up and make for years. It's a casual arcade shooter and it's just fun. And the fact that it's free to play is fucking amazing. I honestly have no idea how Ubisoft of all companies let this game come out in the state that it's in with the business model that it has. Like, seriously, we're talking about Ubisoft. Like, this Ubisoft, and this Ubisoft, and this Ubisoft. And now they're not only funding the most purely fun PvP game I've played in years, but they're also keeping it free to play with cosmetic-only microtransactions? Like, what fucking year is this? What the fuck happened when I wasn't looking? Was Ubisoft even aware of what they were signing off on with this game, or did the XDefiant team tell them that this was going to be an open-world looter shooter? Like, and yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see just how much Ubisoft asserts themselves on the business model of this game going forward. Like, we'll certainly have to wait and see if the business model shifts from being cosmetic only to potentially putting new OP weapons and characters into the store, which I absolutely would not put past them once the launch hype dies down. Also, side note, as someone who grew up playing Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, I am absolutely pissing myself at the potential of some of that game's PvP maps being brought back as remakes in this one. I doubt it's gonna happen, but the fact that this game makes so many references to the older Ubisoft shooters makes me think there's at least a little bit of hope that those old GRA 2 maps will get preserved. Because holy shit, if you played the PS2, PS3 era of Ghost Recon games and, you know, Rainbow Six games, you know that Ubisoft was fucking cooking with those multiplayer maps. And it's a damn shame that they basically just threw the Ghost Recon franchise in the trash a few years ago, because it means I'm never getting GRA 3, but I digress. Like seriously, playing XDefiant just makes my brain keep doing pop-ups of that damn map from GRA 2, and that one beach town map that I can't remember the name of, but I'll put a picture of it on screen here once I get to the editing of this, because fuck me, man, I want to play GRA 2 again. Like, I want Ubisoft to make stuff like this again, and XDefiant really makes me feel like they're noticing the market for casual shooters that are fun first and visually impressive second, or live service second, you know, the kind of stuff that Ubisoft used to make. XDefiant just gives me happy memories of Call of Duty and Overwatch 1 and GRA 2 and all those other arcade shooters that I sunk hundreds of hours to back when I was younger, and it's just so goddamn fun. And that's not even talking about the actual gameplay. I've just been talking about the emotional factor of this game, but the actual gameplay is great. The movement feels snappy and responsive without being too exploitable. The time to kill is perfect, allowing for solid back and forth exchanges and gunfights without being too bullet spongy. The guns all look, sound, and feel great. Like, this is one of the best feeling shooters I've played in a while. Everything that you expect from an FPS game in terms of the presentation and catharsis and feedback of the weaponry is top notch in this game. And while it's probably a tad early to call for tweaks to gun balance, honestly, everything feels good right now. now. I think shotguns could use a little retooling, but honestly, I can live with them being where they are, because yeah, if you're going to commit to a shotgun, you should be rewarded with gnarly close range damage, but slow reloads and terrible range, which is the way things are right now. The same way that, I wouldn't be upset if they retooled the snipers a little bit, but also I can live with them where they are, because yeah, if you're committing to a big, precise, long-range death stick, you should also be punished with big, clunky, awkward reload animations when you miss your shots or let someone get close to you, and that's the way things are right now. This game also runs excellently. I haven't had any crashes, I haven't had any stutters, I haven't even noticed any frame drops. This game runs like a dream on PC, which I welcome with open arms after years of Activision and all their infinite wisdom and resources still refusing to properly optimize Call of Duty on PC. And this game is only a 35 gig download? Activision, genuinely, what have you been doing the last 5 years? I know there were some server issues during the first few hours of the launch window, but I mean, I didn't experience them. I jumped on this game in the afternoon of launch day, and I didn't experience anything, so whatever problems there were ironed out within a few hours of launch, which in the day and age of updates breaking a lot of PvP games, the fact that this game launched with as high profile as it did and only had a few hours of server issues and then it was fine, like, fucking kudos. Again, why is this hard? I'm so stoked on this game, but we all knew it was going to be good because it's just all of the things that you already knew we liked mixed together into a big bowl. Why did it take so long to make this? Why didn't anyone make this first? The only reason this game exists is because all the other publishers on the market created a giant hole for it. Why did you make the hole? What were you thinking? This game could have been yours 5 years ago. God, okay, so the maps are also great. I'm yet to play a map that I don't enjoy. The matchmaking is extremely quick, and I love it. And I'm yet to get into a lobby where I feel like anyone's connection is putting them at an advantage or a disadvantage. Hitboxes feel good. Hit reg feels good mostly. I've had like, I don't know, 1 or 2 moments where I'm like, the hit reg felt weird there, but it's certainly not like an ongoing problem. The UI is perfect. Character designs and lighting are perfect, like I mentioned earlier, like how there's a bunch of factions with different abilities in a realistic art style, which sounds like a nightmare, but I've never had any trouble in identifying who's who in motion. Like, I'm genuinely struggling to come up with criticisms of this game. I have plenty of criticisms of the publisher and how they're handling it. I would love if this game was on Steam and not exclusive to stupid Uplay or whatever they're calling it now, because I'll be honest, if I didn't already have a Ubisoft account from years ago, I probably wouldn't have even made one to try this game. Because, like, the general opinion of third-party accounts and launchers amongst PC gamers right now is at an all-time low. Like, Ubisoft really should be thinking about just cutting the Uplay requirement and throwing this game up on Steam. Because this is a game that people would absolutely flock to, especially since Call of Duty is hosted on Steam as well. You could literally yoink their entire PC player base with this, or at least the multiplayer player base with this. I could not find a single reason anywhere why anyone would want to keep playing COD multiplayer once this game is made accessible to them. Like, just put it on Steam. You have an absolute banger of a game on your hands. Do not lock it behind a third-party launcher and account in 2024, the year of absolute maximum hate for third-party accounts and launchers. Don't do that. I would also love it if XDefiant marked a turning point for Ubisoft and led to them greenlighting more stuff like the games that this game is pulling influence from and making reference to. Like, I would love if this game meant that we get a comeback to old school Ghost Recon or old school fucking Splinter Cell. But I mean, we all know that's not what's going to happen. Game development takes too long these days, and if Ubisoft were to greenlight more stuff with the same fun-first philosophy as XDefiant, we wouldn't even get to play it for another like 4 years at the minimum. I'm having so much fun with XDefiant, and that makes me worried because I don't know how profitable this game is going to be, and even if it is profitable, I don't know how much profit it's going to have to generate for Ubisoft to consider it a big success next to their big franchises like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. I also worry that the attachment to Ubisoft as a brand is going to keep people from trying it. Ubisoft is such a tarnished company right now that their attachment to this game alone is going to kind of put a cap on how popular it can be. which means it's not going to be proper competition to Call of Duty. People say this game's going to kill Call of Duty. I don't want this game to kill Call of Duty. I want this game to get Call of Duty back on track. But if Ubisoft keeps being Ubisoft, then that's never going to happen because Ubisoft put their logo on this fucking thing. And like I said earlier, this game is conceptually basically just Ubisoft shooter Smash Bros. The game itself is excellent, but everything surrounding the game is what's bothering me. And I'm extra bothered by the fact that, like I said, I don't think this game's actually going to lead to anything. I don't think this game's actually going to trigger any changes in the industry. I think this is going to be a flash in the pan game. I am absolutely willing to eat my words if I'm wrong. I hope I eat my words if I'm wrong. But with the circumstances surrounding this game, with Ubisoft's recent behavior, with the state of the AAA industry being what it is, I don't think XDefiant is going to be like the beginning of a comeback to this kind of design philosophy, this kind of fun-first design philosophy that's not just trying to milk player counts or cheese engagement. I really want it to be, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. And it's so frustrating that we're in this position because this is the game that I have been waiting for so many years. I have been waiting for a arcade-style shooter PvP game like this. I have been waiting for a proper Call of Duty game like this for so long. And now that it's here, not only is it attached to one of my least favorite companies in existence, and I feel like I have to take a shower every time I finish a play session, but I'm also fully aware of the fact that it's not going to lead to anything more. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does lead to something more. But XDefiant is fucking great. And god damn it, everything surrounding that fact just depresses me. Toodles.